Thank you everybody for joining us this evening for this DirectLink community class on how to use the OMNI IQ app and a general discussion about the OMNI service as well. My name is Connor, and joining me today as an admin is Gerald Rasmussen. We are both on the marketing team here at DirectLink. Gerald's going to help me provide some additional resources and answer any questions as they might come up. Awesome. So today, we're going to talk about the network management app that's included with the OMNI Internet service. We like to think of it sort of as a remote control for your internet. And there's some really handy things that the app can do. So we want to show you those things today, and we hope that you'll find them helpful. Okay. So first things first, just a couple of housekeeping items. You can watch the recording of this class on the DirectLink website at directlink.coop/classes. And then if you have any questions or comments or anything, you can use the chat button here in Zoom to type any questions that you might have. And if you don't see that option that I have circled on the screen there, if you're watching on a computer or a laptop, just kind of move your mouse around the screen and you should see that little toolbar pop up where you can press the chat button. And if you're on, say, a phone or a tablet, just tap the screen with your finger and you should see a little toolbar pop up at the bottom there where you can type in a chat as well. All right, and Gerald is in the chat. And sorry here, I'm sharing my screen, so I've got it open on my phone as well, because I'm going to be sharing from my phone in a little bit to show you the app. And I can tell that there's a little gray box that pops up on the screen every now and then. That's me monitoring the chat to see if there's any questions that come in. And you may see my mouse moving around and me kind of checking other things. That's me on the admin side, making sure there's no comments or any issues going on at the time. So I'll try not to let those gray boxes interfere with the presentation too much. Okay. All right. So I want to point out a couple of helpful resources real quick before we get started. The first one here is a link to the DirectLink Internet support pages, which have a wealth of information and answers to common questions related to connectivity issues. You can find a lot of information there as well if you're looking to troubleshoot any issues that you have with your connection. The second link here is actually a link to the DirectLink YouTube channel, where we have a wealth of support videos related to the OMNI service and the OMNI IQ app. In fact, there is a playlist on the YouTube channel called OMNI Support, which has a bunch of videos that can help you navigate pretty much anything throughout the OMNI IQ app. We'll be going into those things in depth today, but I just wanted to point out that there are support videos out there available in case you're using the app one day and you run into anything or you don't know how to do something. The DirectLink YouTube channel is a really great resource to help you find some information on those things. The third link right here is the fiber map and timeline page that we have on the DirectLink website. Here you can check availability for your address and timeline if you don't have fiber yet. So I like to point that out as well to folks. And then the last one is a link to the classes page on the DirectLink website. There you can find more information on past and future classes. And that's where you can also watch the recording of today's class as well. And that should be up online in about a week or so if you want to go back and watch the class. Awesome. Okay, so real quick, before we get into the presentation today, I want you to check out this quick video from comedian Gary D to see if anything that's happening in this video looks or sounds familiar to you. And I'm just making sure that I'm sharing my sound here. Perfect. All right, here we go.
I'm a pretty calm, cool, and collective guy, but... Sorry, what's your name? Yeah, Evan. Hi, Evan. Yeah, we have no internet. Nothing. I don't know. It just stopped working.
The internet is down.
I know, I'm on the phone with them. No, that was my wife.
I can't get online again.
Yeah, I'm talking to Evan. No, my daughter, my wife. Okay, can you guys not talk? Sorry. Yes, we have the white boxes. I see one. They got horns on them.
The one with the horns.
Yes, I see one. We have 11 of those.
I was on the phone and I got disconnected.
Okay, it's not about you. We switched our broadband service provider. Like Devin put in 11, Evan. How are we supposed to know which one's 7 and which one?
I thought it was Devin.
Who's Devin?
I got no service. Honey, you're blocking.
You can't stand there. You're blocking it. Don't block it. And the best part, I never have to speak to Evan or Devin ever again.
I think this one's 11.
11? We're not looking for 11. No, we're looking for, are we looking for 7, Evan, or 11? We have 2 next to each other. That's bad. 2 white boxes. Evan? Evan?
So sometimes, right, we get it. The Wi-Fi acts up sometimes at inopportune moments, and it can be tough sometimes to troubleshoot the issue and figure out what's going on. But with OMNI from DirectLink, it's never been easier to manage your network, and we're actually minimizing the amount of support that you really need as well. So this new service is really fantastic. It's super reliable, secure, and fast, and we're going to get into those different things in just a moment. So before we talk about the app specifically, I wanted to just quickly talk about the OMNI service in general and just get folks a little more familiar about what that is. I know that members have received a letter in the mail talking about the OMNI service and what all that entails, but I just want to go over a couple of things real quick as well. So we like to think of OMNI as an all-in-one internet solution, but what exactly does that mean? Well, with OMNI, everything that you need for a quality, fast, reliable internet connection is included with your subscription, with your DirectLink membership. That means that you get a top-of-the-line router to power your home Wi-Fi network, and that's actually professionally installed by our local technicians at no cost to you as a DirectLink member. This is actually something that, for attending this class today, you can call into your local DirectLink office and ask about getting on the schedule to get this new equipment in your home and get set up with the new service. We're going to talk about this a little bit more in just a moment as well, but I just wanted to let you folks know that. Okay. Again, every OMNI subscription includes that Wi-Fi router at no cost. It's part of your subscription, and each subscription also includes fast download and upload speeds, so you can do all the things that you want to do online. Gaming, streaming shows and movies. Maybe you work from home. Maybe you do video calls with Teams or with Zoom like we're doing right now, or FaceTime, things like that. So we want to make sure that you have fast enough speeds and quality service to do all of the things online that you want to do. And as more and more of our lives are connected to the online world, and as scammers continue to advance their tactics and the online threat landscape continues to evolve, it's necessary to have some more advanced security measures. So we've done a couple of things to help keep our members safe when they're online and keep their devices protected. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment as well. And then, of course, we have the handy network management app, OMNI IQ, which we're going to get into a live demo of tonight. So when I say it's an all-in-one service, we really mean that. The price that you see is the price that you pay. So there's no additional fees for an infrastructure build out. There's no extra fees for high data usage or speed throttling. So when I say data usage, when we do things online, we're actually building up data. And some other internet service providers and even mobile data providers, some of them actually may put a limit on the amount of data, or really the amount of internet, that you're allowed to use during a period. And some of them can even charge fees or slow down speeds if you go over that arbitrary data limit. We do not think that's right at DirectLink, so we don't have any fees or limits, and we don't throttle speed based on high data usage. So you're free to use your internet connection as much as you like. There's no extra cost for higher upload speeds. Some providers may have just a set tier of upload speeds, and then even if you were to purchase their faster internet speed package, you might also have to pay an extra fee to get higher upload speeds with that as well. But with DirectLink, we've got our download speeds and our upload speeds listed clearly on the website, and what you see is what you get. And we've got faster overall upload speeds than any other provider in the area. I mentioned that there's no cost for Wi-Fi equipment rental right now. So we've got brand new top-of-the-line routers that we are putting into folks' home, included with your internet service. So you can get on the schedule to get this new equipment installed in your home by a local DirectLink technician. Just give your local office a call and they'll get you scheduled for an installation. And then last but not least, no contracts as usual. So if for any reason you don't like our service or you want to leave us, we don't think you will though. We're confident that the service is going to be fantastic and that you're going to like it. There's no contracts that you have to buy out of or no big fee that you would have to pay to get out of a contract. Okay. So I mentioned some advanced security measures that we're implementing, that we have implemented to help keep members safe. So there's two different things here, and one of them is umbrella defense, and this actually went in place in August of 2022, and this is a network-wide solution at the internet provider level that protects all members on a DirectLink internet connection, and it protects all those devices on a connection. So what this essentially does is it prevents accidental visiting to known malicious websites that may have code or scripts or links on them that could install viruses or malware, ransomware, that sort of thing onto your devices in the effort to, steal your personal or payment information. You may have actually even seen this in action. If you've ever been on a device and tried to visit a web page after clicking a link, or maybe there was a pop-up, umbrella defense is actually working in the background, and you may have seen a little pop-up appear on your screen that says, are you sure you want to visit this site? This site, is known to have malicious coding or intent on it. So that's umbrella defense working in the background on your behalf. And that's something that we've implemented again on the internet provider level. So that protects all members that are on their DirectLink connection. The second layer of protection is what's known as Protect IQ, and this is included with the OMNI IQ app and with the new routers that we're putting into folks' home. So again, this is that extra layer of security, and this is at the home network level. This protects all devices connected to your home network. So while umbrella defense is at the internet provider level and we're protecting all members, this one is at the home network, and it protects against inbound threats to devices, even those you might not think about right away, like a streaming stick, an Amazon Fire Stick, or a Google streaming stick, or maybe a smart thermostat, something like that. Again, as the online sort of threat landscape evolves and scammers continue to advance their tactics, these sorts of protections are necessary, and we are very glad to have these protections in place. They're necessary as we move forward. So just a little bit about the security measures that are in place with the OMNI service. Next up, I mentioned that OMNI includes fast download and upload speeds. So most members on fiber saw their internet speeds overall increased in early 2023. That's that letter that you received in the mail. And in fact, our lowest speed now on fiber connections is 100 megabits per second. And fiber itself supports speeds up to 1,000 megabits per second. You may have heard that referred to as 1 gig before. Very, very fast, very reliable internet speed that you can get on fiber. And also upload speeds have increased across the board overall for everybody. There's more details about your particular speeds in that letter that you received, but overall upload speeds have increased for our members. And that's important because download speeds and upload speeds are important for different online activities. Downloading, we are pulling information down from the internet. Think about streaming shows and movies or loading a web page. We are pulling information down from the internet. On the other hand, uploading, that's where we're sending information up to the internet from our devices. Like on this video call right now, Zoom. My device, my computer is taking my video and then sending that up to the internet for you all to see. Same sort of thing if I'm playing online games. My character is doing things as I'm controlling it with my controller, and then it's doing things in the game online. So those upload speeds are increasingly important, as we do more and more things online, like video calling and those sorts of things. Okay. So getting started with OMNI. I wanted to see real quick, I'm actually going to launch a poll on the screen here, and it's going to sort of interrupt what I have on the screen with, actually, it might not interrupt the screen with a gray box. Oh, I changed my mind. There it is. It was just delayed. Sorry, folks. But I'm just curious. I'm going to launch this here and you should see it pop up on your screen. Is anybody already set up with the Omni Wi-Fi equipment at home? Have you gotten scheduled, and has anybody gotten that new equipment in their home? Okay, great. Thank you folks for answering. Got it. I'll give it just one more second here and then I'm going to share the results. So it looks like about 30% of the folks here tonight do have the Omni equipment installed, and the other 70 don't yet have the equipment installed at this point. So, okay, that gives me a little bit of an idea of how we're looking at this point. So for the folks that are not set up with Omni at this point, current members on Fiber can swap that equipment that you have at home for free. Even if you're managing your own Wi-Fi, or you have managed your own Wi-Fi in the past, if you've used your own router, you can get this new advanced router that we're using here at DirectLink for free, included with your internet subscription. This is part of your package, and we're doing it that way because we want you to have the best overall experience with your network, okay? So you can contact member services to schedule an appointment today. And I apologize about this last line here. We had an in-person class earlier today, and I was letting folks know that they could actually walk over to the lobby to get on the schedule earlier as well. So again, you can get started and get this new equipment in your home. It's a fantastic router. It gives great speeds and really reliable connection for your entire home, and that's part of your subscription. Next up, I wanted to touch real quick on downloading the app onto your device. So folks who plan on getting on that schedule to get the new Wi-Fi equipment in their home installed by a tech, we'd really like folks to have the Omni IQ app downloaded onto their smartphone or their tablet before that installation takes place. That just makes the process a little bit smoother. So the app is available on the Google Play Store and then the Apple App Store as well. If you open your phone or your tablet's app store, just search Omni IQ, and then you'll see the Omni IQ app pop up, and just look for the little DirectLink icon right there as well. That'll signify that you're looking for the right app. Now, the app, actually, you're not going to be able to log into your account and manage your network before the new Wi-Fi equipment has been installed at your home. So just note that if you guys download the app tonight, that's really the only thing that you'll be doing with the app, is just downloading it and getting it ready to go on your device. And then once you schedule the appointment for the tech to come to your home and set up the new equipment, essentially, they're going to help you link your app to the new router itself, and then that way you'll be able to get into managing your network with the app. But for right now, folks who are looking to get on the schedule to get the new equipment in their homes, we would very much appreciate downloading the app first, so that it kind of smooths that process out a little bit as the techs come into your home to install the service. Okay. All right, let's get into the app itself. I am actually going to mirror my phone here that I have. I'm connected to a demo Wi-Fi network that we have here specifically for this class. So I'm going to get into the Omni IQ app and just make sure that my screen is sharing here. Wonderful. There we go. All right. Here we are. The wonders of technology, right? The things that we can do. Okay. So this right here is the home screen of the Omni IQ app. Now, again, if you just downloaded the app, you're not going to see this until your account has been linked and created at that point of install for the new equipment. So I want to go over the different sections and different things that you can do inside the app, because I think it's a really fantastic tool that can help you kind of control and monitor your network a little bit. All right, so first things first, we're going to go over the icons at the bottom of the screen here. There's 5 different ones. The one that I'm on right now with that little gray dot, the house-shaped button, that's the home screen. That's where we are right now. And there's a couple different things we can do, and I'll go over those in a moment. Next to that, the little 3 people there, that is aptly named the people area right here. And this is where I can create profiles for the different people that live in my household. And we'll go over in just a moment why you'll want to do that. Next to that in the middle, the little couch there, that is the Places tool. And this is really an organization type of tool where you can see here that I have a couple of places for this account. I have the River Room, which is our main community room here at the Canby campus. And then I have Office, just a sort of a demo place here. So this way, if you wanted, say you have an office at home, maybe you have a computer in there, a couple other devices like a smart speaker or something like that, you could add those devices to that place and sort of keep them organized so you can see where things are. Next to that, there's a little screen/monitor, and this is the Things tab. Things in this sense mean devices that are connected to your network. And you can see here that I've got a few different devices connected to this new router right now. So you can kind of see what that looks like. So right now I've got my iPhone, I've got my laptop, I have a Nintendo Switch linked to it, and I had a Kindle linked to it as well, but the Kindle went in sleep mode, so it's not showing up right now. And then it shows me that these are all online as well, and it even has little symbols like for the Nintendo Switch, it's got a gaming controller there as well, so you can kind of see what sort of device it is. And then the last icon here on the bottom right, this little gear icon, that is where you can adjust settings for your account and your network as well. So we'll get into these things in a little bit more detail. First, I want to hop back to the people screen real quick and show you what it looks like to create a profile and the sorts of things that you can do. So this is my profile for my network. And in here, there's a couple of different things that I can do. The first thing that shows up on the screen is actually the usage for the apps, the services that I've used on my internet connection. I know it's a little bit small, but you can sort of see, and I only have a little bit of data in here since this is a test network that we created just for this class, but my time has been spent on Zoom, Microsoft Office apps, YouTube, Facebook, and then Apple iCloud, like looking at my photos and things like that on my phone. And then as I scrolled, oh, sorry, I'm going to back up real quick. So right here, this just gives you a good idea of what that profile is doing online. So this is a nice little tool, maybe for parents or grandparents that may have kids in the home. But from a data monitoring perspective, this really isn't something that you have to worry about as a DirectLink member. I mentioned that you have unlimited data, so you can use your connection as much as you want. These bar graphs could be through the roof, and it doesn't matter because you have that unlimited data as a DirectLink member. So I just wanted to reiterate that one more time. Okay, so again, we are in my profile, and this could be, you know, any other profile for a person in your household that's connected to your network. And there's a couple other things that I can do as I scroll down on the screen. First of all, this may be the new sort of grounding, right? If someone gets in trouble, you can just straight up turn off internet access for that person's devices in their profile. I'm not going to do it right now because that'll cut off my internet for this class and totally mess things up. So I'm not going to do that right now. But then there's a couple of other things you can do. Right under internet access, there's time limits. And this is a really great tool for, say, parental controls, for limiting screen time. Or accessing the internet. And I can set a custom schedule, or I can do this every day. So just as an example, let's say that this was my kid's profile for my network control, right? I could basically say, okay, I want my kids to only be able to access the internet, just as an example, from, say, oh, I should do that the other way around. We'll do maybe 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., just as an example. There we go. So if I were to click save right here, that would set that internet time off schedule for every day for all of the devices that are linked to this profile. And when I say the devices are linked to this profile, if I scroll down here, you can see that I have these devices here, my iPhone, laptop, Kindle, and Switch. Those are all linked to the profile that's named Connor. But again, you can do this for multiple people in your house. Maybe you have a kid's profile that applies to them. That's how you could control those different things and set those restrictions. Speaking of restrictions, right below time limits here, this is where I could restrict access to specific content, apps, and websites. So there's a couple of toggles here, like just as an example, the safe search one at the top, that's using the same settings that a standard search engine would use, like Google or Bing. You could turn that on, and then that would apply those safe search settings to all of the devices that are associated with this profile in the OmniIQ app. I can also go down here and look at, say, content restrictions, and there's just some general categories here that I could choose to block for the devices that are associated with this profile. Gambling, alcohol, web advertisements, online games, all these different things here. If you turn that on, that's going to restrict access to those categories of websites and apps and content on those devices for that profile. And then I can also add specific websites here that I want to restrict access to as well for this profile. So there's some really advanced control that you can have here over your network. And then as I go down, I can look at my things that are associated with my profile. And let's just, for example, I'm going to click on my iPhone right here. This lets me look at the usage for individual devices. So this is a nice tool if maybe you're monitoring screen time for kids or other family members. You can see, okay, if I look at this, by the day, this can show me days, hours, or minutes, how much activity is going on that device. I can also go down here to the options, and I can turn off internet access for individual devices if I like as well. You can see here under internet access that this is on, but this could be a tool. Let's say maybe it's homework time for the kids and you want them to be able to access the internet, but only on their maybe their device, their tablet, or their computer that's for school, right? So you could turn off internet access for all their other devices except for that one, just as an example. And then you can see at the bottom that it belongs to Connor. So that's just part of my profile is what that means. If I click the edit button in the top right here, this is where I could edit the name of the person, and I can add devices to my profile as well. And we'll go over how to do that here in just a moment, or what that might look like. Does anybody have any questions about the people tab here and how you can create and manage preferences and restrictions for those profiles and the devices on those profiles? You guys feel free to type any questions in the chat if you have any. Okay. So I'm going to jump.
That's any questions again. You're just killing it, man.
All right. It's crystal clear, I guess, for everybody. Okay, so I'm hopping over again to the things tab here. Things again means devices, and that's that little screen in the bottom right. So whenever a new device connects to my network, it'll show up here in the things tab. So I don't have any new devices to connect right now, but if somebody was in the room where I'm at and they connected to my network, since I'm the admin, I would see that device connect to it right here. And then let's just say I'm going to click on the Nintendo Switch right here. So I could click on this, and then this is where I could view those different things that we looked at earlier. It already belongs to a profile down here to Connor, but if it didn't, I could assign it to a profile that I've created for somebody in my household. So that's how that works right there. And if I want to, let's see, I can press the plus button up here as well. And just in case you need to, you can look at your network name and then your password as well for when you're connecting a new device to your network, in case you need a reminder of your login information there. All right. So I'm going to hop back to the home screen real quick and go over the My Network screen that's right in the middle right there. Okay, so I'm going to click on this, and this gives me a couple of different things that I can do. First things first, one of the coolest things that you can do is you can actually create multiple networks from your one Wi-Fi router. You can see right here that I actually have two different networks active right now. I have the River Room demo as the primary account or the primary network, excuse me. And then I actually have a guest network here, and that was created specifically for this community class for folks that joined us in person this morning. They could connect to that network that, so we showed that as an example. So this could be a really good, a use case scenario for this could be maybe you have friends or family that are visiting for a few days. You want to just have a dedicated network just for them that they can use that's separate from your main one. You can create that guest network and give them access to it. Or maybe kids are coming into the home for the weekend, and you want to have that other network that has maybe different permissions for being able to visit certain types of content than you want for your main network. So you can use your devices in the way that you want to. So if I want to create a different network, I'm going to click the plus button in the top right up here, and I can click on Add Network. Then it's going to ask me what type of network I want to create. And really the two main ones are guest or work from home. A work from home network essentially creates prioritization for devices that are related to work from home activities, like Microsoft Office apps, Teams, for example, or Zoom, different things like that. So it lets you prioritize devices that are needed to work from home in case of network congestion. We're going to go over prioritization a little bit further in just a moment as well. But for the sakes of this demonstration, let's say I create a guest network right here. Then I can go ahead and create a new SSID, which stands for Service Set Identifier, otherwise just known as your Wi-Fi network name, right? So you can create a new name right there for that guest network. And then for security type, I would recommend just leaving it at WPA2 personal. The WPA3 is a newer Wi-Fi security protocol, and some older devices might not be able to actually connect to the network under that new security protocol. So WPA2 is really the standard right now. And then it automatically enables isolation, which means it's a separate isolated network from your main primary one. And then I can actually set the duration for this either to endless or custom. So again, say we have people visiting for the weekend, I could put in a start date and time and an end date and time for this guest network as well if I wanted to. Then when I'm done, I click save at the top right there, and I have a guest network just like this one that you can see right here, the Omni IQ community class. And a really nice thing about this, what you can do is you see here at the bottom, I can share this network. So whether you're using a guest network or your primary one, just as an example, let's say I want to share this guest network. I can press this share button down here, and this actually brings a QR code up right on my phone so somebody else can scan that code with their device and get connected to that Wi-Fi network. And you can see that I can also share the details of that network via a text message as well. So it makes it really easy to connect to a separate network here. Okay, a couple of other things in this section right here. Right underneath the bolder, larger My Network there, I'm going to click over to Equipment. And this just shows the router or mesh devices that may be powering your network. So just as an example, the new Wi-Fi equipment that we have is very powerful, and you really should only need the one box to power your Wi-Fi network throughout your entire home. But for larger homes or homes with maybe some more complicated construction, there may be the need for additional Wi-Fi access points, and that creates what's called a mesh network so that you get a good signal to your entire home. If that's the case for your situation, that's something that the techs will look at the time of install, and they'll make sure that you're getting a strong signal throughout your home. And if more access points are needed to create that mesh network, that's included with your service. There's no extra charge for any additional access points if they're needed. So I bring that up because that's where you might see that additional equipment here in the aptly named equipment tab. Okay. And then to the right of that is the services tab. And as DirectLink members, you're going to have both of these things automatically enabled. Protect IQ is that layer of security that we talked about earlier. And then Experience IQ is just the name for those advanced parental controls that we've already talked about, where you can set those time limits for those profiles and devices, set those content restrictions and things like that. So those are going to be automatically enabled for you so that you can do those things in the app. And then over here on the right is the usage tab. And this is pretty cool. This is where you can sort of get down by device and see what sort of online usage those devices have. So again, I don't have a whole ton of usage in here since this network that we created for this class is fairly fresh, but this is where you could do a deep dive if you're curious and check out how much those individual devices have actually been using your connection. Okay. I'm going to pop back over to the networks tab on the left and go over these shortcuts that you can see on the screen here. So the first one on the left is actually a bandwidth test that I can run right here from the OMNI IQ app. And I'm going to run a test here real quick. So what this is going to tell me is the internet speed that is coming into my home and that my router is able to broadcast over Wi-Fi to my devices. So when it's done testing it here in just a moment, I'll get a little result right below that. But the last test we did, you can see was great. We were getting fast speeds with very low ping right there. Now that number on the right, ping, that actually refers to what's called latency. And latency is the amount of time it takes for your device to communicate with a server from a website or a game or an app, something like that. And here we go. So my test just finished. We're getting 938 megabits per second download speed and 928 upload speed with just a 1 millisecond ping. So very, very great internet speeds. And the lower number, the better when it comes to ping, because that means that your device over your network is able to send signals back and forth to a website, to an app, to a game very, very quickly. And that creates a smooth experience for, let's say, streaming movies. Not going to get a buffering signal with that. And playing online games, that's going to be a really smooth experience, because when you're playing a game, you want your character or your action to be reflected immediately. So a lower ping is better. So again, when we're running a speed test from the app right here, that's telling us how much speed we're getting from our router into our home. Okay. I'm going to go back, and next one up is the network map right here. And this just sort of shows you the connections that you have on your router right here or your other equipment. So just as an example, if I had other equipment, that might show as some devices connected to a different mesh network point as opposed to the main router. So just a cool little feature here to take a look at your network and see what's connected. The next one over there is the security tab. And this is where you can sort of see how Protect IQ is working for you in the background, what sorts of things that it has blocked from coming into your devices. Now, again, we don't have any data in here because we just set up this test network recently, but this is where you could go in and take a look week by week or month by month and see what sorts of intrusions or threats or viruses have been blocked by this included protection feature that's part of the app for you. So that's where you could take a look at those security things here. And then the next one next to security is priorities. Now, this is a cool thing. So priorities actually let you basically it lets your network prioritize which devices have access to your bandwidth if there happens to be any congestion. So just as an example, let's say you're on maybe 100 megabit per second internet speed and you've got 25 devices connected to your network. Maybe you're streaming 4K movies on 5 different screens. Somebody's playing an online game. Somebody's on a video call. Somebody's streaming music. Lots of stuff going on online, right? There is the potential for too much online activity to be going on, and you could reach what's sort of known as a bandwidth limit, right? At your internet speed, there's only so much that you can do online at once. So what this does, the My Priorities tab, is that actually lets you, it tells your network which devices need that priority bandwidth in the event of congestion. So just as an example, I've got it right here. So I've got a work from home schedule. Let's say, just as an example, that I work from home on Monday and Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. What I've done here with this schedule is told my network that from the hours of 8 a.m. to 5 a.m. or 5 p.m., excuse me, on Monday through Wednesday, I need my network to prioritize the devices that I use to work from home because, you know, working is important. So if somebody else at that time hops on a game or starts streaming a 4K movie, if there happens to be any network congestion or buffering, it's going to happen to their devices, not mine. Okay, so and then here I can set a new traffic priority schedule. You can see that in the middle of the screen. And then at the bottom here, I can assign devices to be part of that schedule right there. So just as an example, with this work from home schedule, I have my laptop linked to that schedule. So that's telling my network, hey, if there's congestion during those times, my laptop has priority over other devices on my network. So that's a cool little feature as well. I just want to say though, that if you're on fiber and you have access to those faster internet speeds, you really shouldn't have to worry about network congestion, because with this new equipment and with the OMNI service, we have really prioritized giving folks faster speeds and a smooth, reliable connection. So honestly, if you're on faster speeds, you really shouldn't have to worry about this too much, but this option is here just in case you need to prioritize that network traffic for specific devices. And then the last shortcut here on the My Network screen is the default restrictions. So this is essentially what you could use maybe the first time you're setting up your network. And then whatever settings you apply here, we looked at this earlier, the safe search, the content restrictions, the websites being blocked. Basically for the default restrictions, whatever you set here, that'll apply to any new devices that connect to your network. So again, this could be used for maybe the first time that you're setting up your network and getting started with the app here. But you might be able to read this. It says the restrictions set for people override these restrictions. So just as an example, let's say you create some default restrictions and that applies to any new device that connects to your network. However, if you have a profile for a people in the tab there, any settings that you have for that person override these restrictions. So let's say I put on a bunch of restrictions here for default, but then I go into my profile, I can turn them off and that overrides these default restrictions right here. So this might be a good one again for getting started and creating default restrictions for kids or something like that. Okay. Those are all of the settings that I can adjust here in the My Network tab. One more thing to go over is the settings area right here. So again, that little cog icon on the bottom right. The top one here is the account and admins area. And this is where I could actually add a secondary admin to my account. And the reason you're not seeing that option here on my screen is because Gerald is actually the primary admin for this account and I am the secondary. So he's the one that has control over that. But what this essentially could be used for is maybe you're helping a family member or somebody kind of monitor their home Wi-Fi network and control the permissions and those things that we've talked about. Then you could go in and create a secondary admin so that another person could control those things. From this screen, you would just click to add another admin and it'll send them an email with a link for them to create a password to get started. So they're going to need an email address, and then they'll need to create a password to become a secondary admin. So again, good use case scenario would be if you're helping maybe a family member or friend to help manage their network for them. Another thing right here is you can actually set a passcode in lieu of a password to log into the app should it ever log you out. So that's a nice little feature, is just setting a little PIN number. And then really the last thing to mention of note here is the alerts tab. And this is where I can actually get push notifications to my device for a variety of things from the app. So just from the earlier class today, I turned this off. And when I turn it on, it's actually going to take me into my phone's settings right here. So if I click on notifications and I click on allow, now that's basically my phone telling that app that it's allowed to send me notifications. So if I go back to the OMNI app here, you'll see that I now have the option to turn on or off a variety of different notification types. So just as an example, you'll see the one I have turned on right here, new device joined network. That means that whenever a new device joins my network, the OMNI IQ app is actually going to give me a notification on my phone and let me know that a new device has joined. And that's the same thing for any of these other ones here. Let's say I run a bandwidth test. I can get a notification to my phone to see that bandwidth test and a variety of other things here as well. So if you're someone who likes to know what's going on with your network, you can adjust these alerts and see what's going on. And there's actually a history of your alerts that's kept here from the home screen. This little bell icon in the top right with the 21 notifications there that are apparently unread. So you can see here, we did a couple speed tests today, some new devices connected to the network earlier, so I can see all of those alerts and notifications here from this screen as well. Is there anything that I'm forgetting, Gerald, that we should touch on?
Connor, you have it thoroughly covered. Fantastic job. You weren't doing this, I don't know who would, because you're killing it, man.
Thank you, sir. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's the app in a nutshell, and the different things that you can do to control your network and the devices that are connected to your network. Does anybody have any questions about the things that we've gone over so far? I'm actually going to disconnect my phone here and get back to my computer. Okay, that pretty much does it for our presentation, folks. We're going to stick around for another couple minutes if anybody has any questions, but you can also email them to hereforyou@directlink.coop. Sorry, I'm hoping my box there isn't in the way. It looks like it is. Let's do that. There we go. So you can email us for any additional questions or comments that you might have. After I officially end the meeting here, or if you leave the meeting, it's going to pop open a window to a survey. I'd love it if you could fill that out and let me know how we did tonight. Give us some feedback. Stay tuned for an announcement for the next community class. And if you have any suggestions or things you'd like to see from us, please feel free to drop us an email and let us know what sorts of things you want us to see cover in future community classes. And then again, a recording of this class is going to be available at directlink.coop/classes within a week. If you want to go back and get any tidbits as well, you can go and watch the recording of that class. And I just want to shout out one more time the DirectLink YouTube channel. Great resource to find those support videos if you have any issues with the app or questions about the service. We appreciate you joining us this evening. Again, if you have any additional questions or comments, feel free to send us an email, call your local office, and you can get scheduled to get the new Wi-Fi equipment in your home free of charge. It's included with your subscription as a DirectLink member. So go ahead and give them a call and get scheduled to get that new equipment in your home and start doing all of the things that we talked about today.